Like
Malarkey.
let's address some of the stuff that was said. Now you said pick one. Every one of these women should just pick one
Yep.
and just
Yeah.
lock in with him. How is
Yep.
every woman gonna pick one and lock in with him when we outnumber y'all in the black community? Black women
Okay. All
outnumber
right.
y'all. So
DD,
That's a red herring. That's a red herring.
wait a
I
minute.
knew
That was a
somebody was
rhetorical
gonna pull
question.
that. Hold on.
That was a rhetorical question.
How about we focus on getting the marriageable people off first?
Right.
How about
Look,
we focus
let
on
me
that
finish my
first?
point. Let me finish my point since y'all carried on. Let me go ahead and finish
Why
my
they
point.
always say women
Now
outnumber
y'all talk
men? We
about
don't know
being
that for a
married,
fact.
but being
No,
married
let her
does
finish.
not
Let her finish. Let her finish.
being married is not the end all of life problems. Like
Yes, it
a
is.
lot
To
of
y'all,
people get married and don't have good marriages. So you have to also explain to the community what are some of the things that you should do to make your marriage worthwhile. What are some of the things that you should do to be able to stay together? A lot of people don't know what it takes to be married. People can't even be in relationships more than 2 or 3 years.
Can you tell us, please?
do you think that
No, Trigger Mike. Let her. You
Premarital
see,
counseling.
we don't want to direct. We want to address
Uh,
it for her. What is it that a man should do?
that a man should do? Oh no, this
Mhm.
is a couple. This is something a couple should do.
Okay,
Because
so
it
what
ain't
should a
gonna
couple
just be
do?
the man. A
What
couple
should a
should
couple?
definitely before marriage engage in premarital counseling, because there are certain situations that will occur in marriage that you're not thinking about when you're in love. So premarital counseling will have you they will come up and address some scenarios so you can see how you or your partner would address those situations if they come up in life. You need to
boy,
know how your
No.
partner
Can you
will
start off
operate
good? Can you start off from the
I
positive?
gotta
Not if a
tell you,
problem
DD,
results.
black women love therapy,
Why,
boy.
why, why, why
It's
black women
crazy.
always run the
Y'all
counseling?
love therapy, boy.
Why would I pay somebody to hear my problem when I can just tell my woman?
because
That's
it is
dumb.
important to seek it's important to seek the wisdom of
Right.
elders.
First of all, y'all asked her a question,
The,
and she's absolutely right. I
Huh?
mean,
no, she not. No, she not. Our pain.
Listen,
No,
Go
she.
ahead, Payne. Go
finish.
ahead, Payne.
Why would I?
Go ahead,
Why would I
Payne.
pay a
Let me
Hold
therapist?
on,
finish,
Ashley.
man. Let me finish.
Hold on.
Let her
Ashley,
finish.
go ahead, Payne.
Listen. If you're gonna court a woman and she wants to have the man for a husband, it is not a bad idea to talk to some neutral party about what you're thinking about. I have in my top 10. That's number one on the list, especially if you're a Christian, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that is one aspect of it, because people who nowadays are getting together aren't having any meaningful conversation. Not about finances, not about raising children, not about all this shit. You need to talk to somebody who's neutral. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying therapist. It could be your pastor. It could be somebody who's
Okay, great.
righteous enough.
Can I?
That's where
Hey,
I
Trigger Mike.
Well,
Trigger
hold
Mike.
on.
Can I
yes.
respond to what he said?
hold on. Let him finish all this.
Let me land. There's a new international version of a Bible for devotionals for couples. You get a copy, she gets a copy. It talks about communication, it talks about sex, it talks about stepdaddyism, it talks about all of that shit. You read a chapter, she reads a chapter, and then y'all go to a neutral party to discuss what it means. Now, it might not be the end all be all, so Ali, I'm not saying it might cure all ills, but at least you'll weaponize with some stuff so when you take your vows, they have more meaning. So I mean, so on that point, I'm not going to disagree with Dee Dee, because that's true. We don't have enough people actually doing that kind of stuff when they get married. So that
Can I respond, bro?
Ali, hold on, Ali. Ali, then women drop therapy and start picking up crystals and rocks like 5 years ago.
I'm not talking about crystals and rocks.
I ain't talking to you, R-Pain. I'm talking to Ali.
Yep, and started burning sage.
Start burning sage and picking up rocks and
So
crystals and 4-leaf clovers. We ain't trying to hear that shit no more. That shit don't work, man.
yeah, right. So, Brother Payne, what I push back to you is: do women go to therapy to be a better mother? Do they go to therapy to be a better worker?
Hell
But
no.
I didn't cut you off,
Hell
brother. I didn't cut
no.
you off.
Hell no.
I didn't cut you off. Do they go to therapy to be a better entrepreneur? Do they go to
Hell
therapy
no.
to get their degree? Do they go to therapy to be a better pet owner? Do they go
Hell
to therapy
no.
to be their best friend's friend? Do they go to therapy to have a
Hell
great
no.
relationship with a gay best friend and to support the trans community, the LGBT community? We are letting
Hell no.
women keep controlling the narrative of who's doing right and who's doing wrong. We are supposed to show. Let me hold up, brother. Let me finish, brother. You asked not to cut you off, and I made sure I didn't cut you off. If we have to be if we both have to be responsible how we treat each other, we know that comes with work. Don't nobody got to go to therapy. We need to grow up. We need to mature and know what our responsibility is, and we need to stay devoted and loyal to that responsibility. She ain't got to go to therapy. And once she wants to pull you to therapy to make you the problem. As soon as you go to therapy, you're
Man,
gonna end up being a problem. And
Okay, but
man,
here's the thing.
man.
And you got to
I
pay to
don't.
be the
I didn't cut
problem.
off. I didn't cut
Hold
off.
on,
I
hold
didn't
on,
cut
hold
off.
on,
But here's
hold
the
on.
I
thing,
Let
didn't
him
cut off.
Ali.
finish.
I didn't cut
Ali,
off.
you don't
Let
listen
him
to
And
finish.
hold on, I didn't
Let
conversations
cut
him
you.
because
finish.
I'm
No, no,
Let him
specifically
finish.
said
I didn't cut.
Let
counseling.
him
I didn't
finish.
say
Sister, I made
therapy.
sure
I
that.
specifically said
Hold
counseling.
on. Let him
Sister.
finish. Let him
Not
finish.
only that, if you go to a good therapist, do you know most of the times when they do address the real problem, it ends up the woman, then she don't want to go to therapy anymore.
Yep.
If
You're
you
going
two, if
on an
Exactly.
you,
entire tangent about therapy, and I did
I'm
not
not,
say
I'm being
therapy.
respectful, man.
Keep
I
I'm not
cooking,
said
gonna go on
Ali.
no
Keep
premarital
tangent.
cooking.
I'm not
counseling.
going on a tangent.
So when I said
I deal in
premarital
mental health and
counsel,
therapy.
You guys are
Hold on,
tripping,
y'all. Hold
okay,
on.
man.
but
Let me just say
premarital
this.
counsel.
Keep cooking,
So
Ali.
counsel.
Hold on. So I do
I'm
agree.
in mental health.
So I tend to agree. So I'm in agreement with a little bit of what everybody said, right? But let me put this focus. For some reason, I don't know why our beautiful black women are so focused on help stuff. All right, because premarital counseling is not a bad idea, especially if it's done by the church or a group. Because the reason why I'm a little bit on Ali's side is because how about everybody's always looking for something formal when it's really supposed to start. If you can't get it at home, it's supposed to start in your community. Really, the people that you trust most inside of your family or the people you call family or your circle or group are supposed to teach you how to be married. Those are the people that you can go to at any hour of the day, that you can text in almost in the middle of a disagreement and say, "What should I do?" A therapist ain't for that. A premarital counseling is not for that. I do think it's a good thing because there are so many people who have not grown up with examples, and they do need sort of classroom instruction on how to guide their behavior. But it's never the first option for me. If you are not right, if you're not learning the pillars of discipline, order, structure, family from the people around you, premarital counsel ain't gonna do shit for you, right?
Well,
So
first of all, Mike, man, that's, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but the first thing is when people say, I need help.
yeah,
That's the first thing. I don't care where you get it from. If a person recognizes that they need help, how are you going to bash them for that? And you guys are using the word therapy. I didn't say therapy. Wait a
all right,
minute.
but let me say this.
You cut me
How you
off.
gonna cut off Trigger?
No, let me get you're right though. But you didn't say therapy, but I'm also tracking with Ali where he said there is a
Yeah, but
trend.
he came in after me. He
Yeah, I was gonna say
mischaracterized
there is
what
a
I
trend.
said.
What?
There is a
How did I
trend going on.
mischaracterize? Let him explain it. How did I mischaracterize? Because how
Yeah,
did I
you
mischaracterize? If I have to show up as a okay, hold
man, how
on,
come I
brother,
can't
RK.
finish saying my thought, Mike? How come
Go
I
ahead,
can't finish saying my thought?
go ahead, Pat.
That's
Go
why we're
ahead.
Hey,
asking
you
you to
ain't talking
clarify.
about nothing.
No, let
Listen,
him clarify.
listen.
Let him clarify.
Mike, you said community. You come from a background where you have an intact family.
Yeah,
There's how many people in the black community have that kind of infrastructure to go get counseling on marriage or get discussions with somebody in their generation above them somewhere else? How many? That's what I'm saying. So if
yeah,
you have where we are now in our community, if you got two people, I'm not just talking about a woman, I'm talking about a man who wants to cleave with a woman and try to do something constructive for their marriage. What's wrong with them talking to somebody who, I'm not even saying therapy, they're set up if it's their church, if they're non-secular, or if they're secular, then you can go through other steps without going to anybody to talk to, and that's part of the top 10. But
yeah.
but how are we gonna bash that kind of stuff? I don't
No, we're
understand.
not. So let me give you my point of view on it. We're in the spirit of which you're intending it. I don't have a problem with it.
That's all I'm
But
doing.
Ali was really giving credence to something that we overlook. Women are not going into these arrangements in earnest. Michelle Obama even admitted she went to therapy or counseling or whatever we want to call it because it is therapy. Let's stop. It's therapy. That's what it's all considered therapy. All right. They went to counseling. She was like, "Oh no, nothing wrong with me. Fix him." That is the way modern women feel about therapy. They're not really in it to fix anything about themselves. And the second, like Ali said, he worked in mental health. I was a direct care staff and an administrator in a mental hospital. The therapist will tell you the second the focus, because you can do it through goals, right? You can focus on the man a little bit. You can focus on the family. You can focus on the woman. The second those treatment goals go to the woman's side, she no longer wants to have any part of it. That women are not going into these arrangements in earnest. They want the person to fix the therapist to fix the man for them. but they don't
Right.
want it. And we
Right.
see that behavior
Right.
reflected in the way women talk on these panels. They can say anything they want to men. Go ahead and try to correct them. Tell them something they're doing. They'll log off and say, "Forget all y'all. Y'all are beating me down. Whatever." Right? They're not going into these arrangements sincerely.